Hello, everybody. Welcome back to class. This is Mr. Pigeon. Let's get right back into it. This is English, and I'm going to get right to it. So, I sent out your articles, as you have known. We're going to be looking at this last one today. All right. And so, let's take a look at the assignment. I'm going to go ahead and jump off screen so you can take a better look at it. Right now, if we look at the screen and what we have is a task. First, list the title, which is a simple copy and paste, or just go ahead and rewrite it if you're doing it by hand. The main topic, so you do have to read it in order to understand what it is, and decipher the main argument. What details are given to support your claim about the main argument, and finally, identify how the author uses their text structure, what's the main point. I do need some evidence to provide all that support to show me. So remember, evidence, AQE, answer, quotes, explain. I would like you to do that with everything that you do, all right? So right here, the article is from the Boston Globe, which is an editorial. And as I explained in my last English video, I picked these for a reason. And that reason is pretty straightforward. I wanted you to learn a little bit more about this topic because there's a lot of information going on around us. So March 12th was when this was written, which is about 2 weeks ago now. And the article states Trump's virulent state of denial. A state of denial is when a individual is avoiding the truth for themselves. They're denying the truth. So this author, or actually the editorial board at the Boston Globe, so it was actually the entire editorial board, wrote this opinion piece on Trump's state of denial. And this is, of course, an opinion. And I'm not necessarily trying to sway anybody's opinion by presenting this information. I'm simply giving you different information. So let's look at this first paragraph again. Banning travel might have made sense in January, and it might still prevent some new cases. But what Americans need to know from the president now is what to do here at home. State and local leaders, many of whom lack direct access to the federal government's font of scientific expertise, need direction and support for critical decisions they should be making now to stave off worst-case scenarios, including whether to call off all large events, when to shut down schools, and how to shore up their hospitals and healthcare systems. The vacuum of leadership in the White House has forced many to read between the lines of statements from federal infectious disease experts like Anthony Fauci at the National Institute of Health, who testified this week that Americans should avoid large gatherings and who has been subtly contradicting the president's blind denial in order to warn us that the worst of this epidemic is yet to come. Now, I want to pause there for a moment, and I don't mean to alarm anybody or stir up any controversy, but this article, again, was written 2 weeks ago. And take a look at the first point that the authors, because it's a group of authors, it's an editorial board, they're giving you some hints right here. So make sure that you're looking at the connotation of words, okay? And also make sure that you are paying attention to word choice, because it's going to give you a little bit of insight as to what the whole opinion of this article is about. Let's continue on to paragraph 2. Trump sees the current crisis, I'm going to highlight it for you. Trump sees the current crisis as a global war, not a global pandemic. Juliette Kayyem, the former assistant secretary at the U.S. Department of Homeland Security and a lecturer at the Harvard Kennedy School, told the Globe Thursday, calling COVID-19 a foreign virus and targeting travel from Europe, Kayyem says, is an incomprehensible priority. at this stage of the pandemic, it's not that it won't make any difference, but it turns our attention away from the real challenge. Given Trump's track record with science-based policy and with this epidemic, it should come as little surprise that let me get back up there, that he still fails to grasp the nature and scope of the current catastrophe and is failing the country with his administration's response. In late January, the president was reassuring the nation that it was just one person coming in from China, that all was under control, and that we would not have an outbreak in the United States. By late February, when it was clear to the government's own experts that an epidemic in the United States was emerging, he was still claiming that the number of people infected in the country was going down instead of rising. His primary goal, it seems, has been to keep the stock market up in an election year. But even on that measure, he especially failed, it should say. His equivocation, contradiction of science, and denial have made it clear to Wall Street that he can't be trusted at the wheel. His presidency will long be known for ending an 11-year bull run in the stock market in precipitous and calamitous fashion because of a foreseeable disaster when he did little to prevent. Make sure you pay attention to the word choice, all right? And understand those word choice. So, for instance, the word I have highlighted, foreseeable, if you look right at one of the root words right there is see, okay? And we know what it means to see, and not S-E-A, because that would be the sea, right? The water. But if you look at the beginning of the word, the prefix F-O-R-E, you probably have seen that word before. And I just said where you might have seen that word before. Before is, all right, and able is to be able to do something. So seeing something before it happens, all right? Imagine a president who could respond to this global crisis in a way that would incite action, ally fear, and bring Americans and the world community together to tackle the pandemic and do their part in service of the greater good. Whatever or whoever comes to mind, it's probably far from the person who spoke from the Oval Office on Wednesday night. It's too late to close borders. Our attention needs to turn to the dysfunction within. Now, again, I'm not trying to sway anyone's opinions here. I'm just providing opinion pieces. Now, this piece right here, Trump's virulent state of denial, all right? Make sure that you read it again for yourself and answer the questions appropriately. If you did not receive this in the mail, please call the school 602-265-2000. Again, the number is 602-265-2000. Make sure you call the school and you should be able to get another copy. If you call, they might even bring it out to you, okay? So just tell them that you didn't get that, and I have spoken with some of you. Call the school. Make sure you call them because I am forwarding the information, but they still want you to call. So please do that. There will be some more information coming out next week, and I will be back tomorrow, okay? So I don't want you to go away thinking I'm not going to be back today. So I'll be back tomorrow, and I'll be posting up some videos for you tomorrow. All right. You have a good day, and please stay safe.